I'm Chip, and if you have a Whirlpool or a Maytag washing machine that looks kind of like this one, and your clothes have started coming out wet, this might be the problem, and I'm going to show you how to change it. Okay, so this is called a tub hub, and it's the part that attaches your washing machine spin basket to the spin tube or the spin shaft of the transmission. Okay, in this particular model of Whirlpool or Maytag washer, the agitator shaft and the spin shaft coming from the transmission is short, and the splines that mesh with the tub hub and the agitator are going to be low down in the basket, and they're constantly going to be exposed to the harsh environment of soapy water and caustic environment that's sometimes made more corrosive by the consumer adding chlorine bleach into it. So for whatever reason, the manufacturer didn't make these parts out of stainless steel, but instead they produced a shaft that would erode away when exposed to these harsh conditions. It's been my experience that this is the most common failure on this type of washing machine. And many times the steel splines on these transmissions have been corroded so severely that only replacing the gearbox is going to fix the problem. And this gearbox is not serviceable. It has been riveted around two large pieces of metal that contain all the shafts and the bearings and the gears in it, and they don't even sell the parts to replace this. You have to replace the whole gearbox. I've seen some people drilling them out and all that, but it's just not feasible to do this. So if you want to really fix this machine, change the gearbox with a new tub hub, and you'll have almost a new machine, except for other components that may wear out then. So it may not be economical to fix this machine, just be aware of that. So replacing the tub hub is going to correct it for a short time if your splines are kind of iffy. But if the splines are badly corroded, then the high torque during the spin cycle is going to soon wear this plastic hub out again, and it will stop spinning and start slipping. But for now, let's go on the assumption that we can make a lasting repair to this poorly designed washing machine. And I have been able to do this after examining the splines on the spin tube and finding that there's enough left to make this repair feasible. If you've put your machine into the service diagnostic mode and your machine agitates, but when you test the spin cycle, you hear the shift actuator move the splutch, and then when the cycle starts, you're going to hear a loud whirring sound, and what that is the shaft is slipping on that tub hub, and the motor overspeeds and shuts itself down. Then the display stops, it begins flashing to show that the spin test failed, and then you can be sure that your tub hub failed and it's going to have to be replaced. So you can put your washer into service diagnostic mode by following the directions in the service manual that you can find inside the top left corner of your machine's cabinet. It's going to be behind the spin basket inside your cabinet. You have to reach in. There's a plastic bag usually. Or you can watch this video where I show you how to test the shift actuator by entering the diagnostic mode. And that procedure's near the end of that video, but you should watch the entire video to learn some important information about the shift actuators. So to change your tub hub, we first have to remove the wash plate or the impeller or the modified agitator that has a 7/16 inch bolt in the bottom of it. It's in the bottom rather than the top like a normal agitator, and you're going to need a long extension or a couple short extensions put together to reach that far down. If your tub hub has failed, the chances are that your agitator spline shaft has some corrosion too, and pulling that wash plate or agitator is going to be a challenge. So on wash plates, I usually use two bent picks, and I insert them in the holes roughly 180 degrees apart, and I pull up while working the plate back and forth. Once the wash plate or the agitator's out, you can see the tub hub underneath it. And there's a C-clip that's inserted in the hub that you can remove with a screwdriver, and then there's going to be 6 stainless steel screws that have to come out. And you want to be careful not to drop these because they will fall down the drain holes inside of the tub, and you're going to have to pull the entire tub to retrieve them, and that's a pain. So once the old hub is out, you should take a wire brush, clean the splines on both the spin shaft and the agitator shaft, and I use a spray bottle of water, and maybe soapy water to wash the grime away that the brush is loosened up. Then you can use a flashlight and a mirror, and you can inspect the metal splines to determine if it's even going to be worth installing a new tub hub. If they're too worn to tightly fit a new hub, then your only recourse is going to get a new gearbox or scrap the washer for parts. A lot of times, most of my customers, and when I explain this to them, they opt to get a different machine. So, to install the new tub hub, you should replace the stainless steel screws in an alternate pattern. And when you do this, you want to avoid using an electric drill or electric screwdriver. You don't want to over torque these. You want to use a hand driver, and you want to avoid tightening this too tight, because the last thing you want to do is strip out the threads on the bottom of your plastic spin tub. Just tight enough will do it. Okay, then you want to install this new C-clip through the hub, and you may need to use a rubber hammer to tap this into place. Sometimes it's hard to get in there, but with a little work you can get it in place. Sometimes you can rock the tub to and kind of lift up on it and make it fit in the groove inside the shaft. Then you want to reinstall the wash plate or the agitator, and when you're finished you can do another diagnostic test, or better yet, you can do a wash and see if your repair is going to be successful. Now, if you look right over there, my two assistants are pointing to some other videos that you might like to see. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you when I publish the next one.